Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Prolific Creator Podcast. This is Javier Torres, and this is episode, I don't know, 5?
Yeah, 5.
Episode 5, which it's going to be another good one. I keep saying that on every episode. I'm hoping that it's going to be a good one. Oh, technically, I haven't listened to it yet because it's just happening now. But today we have my good friend Equis.
Yeah.
L. Equis in the studio. Now, if any of you listen to our Stuff HD podcast, then you already know Equis because he's my co-host in the Stuff HD podcast. But here I'm gonna try to interview him for those of you who don't know him or who don't even know his whole story because rapping. So I'll let you introduce yourself to everybody first, and then we'll go from there.
All right. So this is L. Equis, the self-professed best rapper in the South Side of Milwaukee.
South Side only.
Yeah, South Side only. I haven't put in the work to be in the whole Milwaukee area.
Sometimes it's okay to just be semi-famous.
You gotta take a step back. Some artists' careers have peaks and lows.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in the low right now. I'm like doing other stuff. I'm working on, podcasts and other stuff.
You gotta get
other hustles.
You gotta get your area right before you go. Like a lot of times people open up businesses and they want to expand right away, but they don't fit theirs right.
Exactly.
Like then your second one is also gonna fail because
I'm working on my comeback.
Your comeback?
Yeah, the comeback.
Awesome. It's been how long since your last?
Man, for real, it's been a while. It's been 2012. What is that?
It's taking longer than the Middle Passage, but
not as much.
Not as much.
But
okay, so let's go way back. Way back. Born in L.A.
Born in Los Angeles.
California. Or Los Angeles.
Califas, yeah.
In Califas.
Well, I was born in Los Angeles, but we never lived in. I was just born in the cheap hospital.
Yeah.
Where undocumented, mothers go to give birth to their children. So, born from undocumented, and proud of my family. They came here, worked hard, provided a better life for us. So, I have to appreciate that.
But you grew up where?
Long Beach.
Beach.
That's where we spent most of my first 7 years of life.
7 years of life. Now, I know that you're really into rap. Would you say that growing up there kind of really influenced that? Or?
I think I would hear it a lot over there, especially, in that area. But most of where I really experienced it was once I moved here to Milwaukee. We moved in 1991.
You started listening to the East Coast? No.
Yeah, over there it was mostly just the local music. But over there it was mostly whatever my parents listened to. It was Julio Iglesias, old school songs. My dad had a vinyl record. Yeah. He still has his collection.
In my case, it was Trio Los Condes and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I have his vinyl collection now. So sometimes I'll I bought myself a little vinyl player, and sometimes I'll look for some samples of old school Julio Iglesias stuff.
So at what age would you say that you realize that you're really into music?
Into music? I think it was middle school. Middle school. That's when I started really listening and starting to buy music. There was no streaming back then.
Yeah, you had
no download. So you actually
buy you mean you actually no, I'm kidding.
No, by buy I'll be okay, there's a friend who has a tape. Let me take it home.
There's that guy at the flea market that always sells CDs.
Make a copy of the tapes. Just make copies of tapes and.
Oh, this was before CDs. This
is tapes.
This was tapes.
I think the first tapes I started collecting was house music. It was very random mixes of local DJs in the local Milwaukee area, because I had friends who had cousins who had either worked or at Spontaneous and all those little Mexican shops.
I had a friend that was one of the owners or something of Spontaneous. Javier, I forgot his last name. But
so they would get the new tapes from there, and they would bring it to the school and we would like after school, we would do like after school activities, and we would ride a van, and the teacher would actually let us put the tapes in the van and listen to the music. So that's how I first started like getting into like music, like really listening to music.
I'm getting flashbacks over here because like for a while back in the 90s, I would say I was really into that type of music. Like it was very popular in Milwaukee, that house type music. And I remember Spontaneous was very I don't even know if they're still around, but back then they were very popular.
I think there's
amongst my friends group anyway.
Yeah, because I believe like that whole house music scene came from Chicago, so like a lot of that influence came from Chicago. So like I don't think like there's something I learned later, but like because a lot of those friends were coming from Chicago, bringing music from over there, but like I think middle school is when I really started getting into everything, like really into music, movies. Like before then, I would just like watch whatever's on TV, but when you have friends that are starting to like. Because in middle school is when I first watched Star Wars.
Okay.
So I was like I didn't know I knew about Star Wars, but I never knew what Star Wars was.
This was already in the 90s, no?
Yeah, this was like 90, 96, 90, 97, 98, around the era. So so it was already.
I'm starting to feel old because I graduated high school 96. So
so this was like 97, and a friend, he had the trilogy on VHS, so it's like the original, like the good version,
the good one
without the
with
extra,
all the CGI. And
so when I first saw
the new CGI,
so when I first saw the New Hope, I was like, it blew my mind. I'm like, I've never seen this movie. Where has this movie ever been in my life?
Where has this been?
Like I knew of Star Wars, but I've never ever seen the movie. So when I first saw that, I'm like, oh man, this is great. This is the best thing ever. So like I think middle school is when I really started getting into all the like the music, movies, the arts kind of a thing.
Cool.
Before then, it was just video games. I think that was it.
So around middle school, you decided, okay, you seem to really enjoy music. When did you start wanting to produce?
Yeah.
Or I know you write and you also produce. Yeah. Which one came first?
Writing came first. Like I would like start. So like I said, middle school. That's when I really started getting to music, and then eventually into hip hop. Listening to like old. And I'm like, okay, this sounds cool. Like how can I like? And you would go to at school. I would be like, oh, there's teachers. Well, how they try to incorporate the cool stuff with the kids in order to teach them. They're like, oh, teachers will be like, oh, that rap.
How they try.
Yeah, like rap is like poetry, so it's, to try to get you to do poetry. Yeah. And you're like, so a lot of rap is just poetry. And so give poetry a chance, and you can rap, you can rap Edgar Allan Poe if you want. And like, okay, you would try to do those things. But yeah, like I think though in poetry, like when we did poetry things, they would allow us to do free writing. Okay. That's when I would try to like create poems, but then like, oh yeah, this is kind of like rap, so you start writing little by little, because writing is a simple process than producing, because producing you might need like equipment.
Correct.
But to write, you only need a pen and a paper. You can write anything you want.
Or nowadays, just a phone.
Yeah, that's
back in the day. Yeah,
I do everything on my IBM.
Your IBM. I bring out
my typewriter.
One of those typewriters in a suitcase thing.
No, but like I prefer to write it on paper, just because I feel that when you write it on paper.
See, I notice a lot of creatives that do that. They have to like write on paper or type on an old typewriter, and I'm like, for me, I never quite understand. I'm like, why?
See, I'll tell you why I do it, and that's because when I'm writing on paper, I really have to put more thought in it, because I don't want to erase anything. So when I'm writing, I'm like, okay, does this make sense before I write it down? When you're doing it on a computer, you're typing, and you can write the whole thing, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna go back, edit. But I feel like when you're writing, you're memorizing it a lot more. That's what I feel like.
Okay. So it's not something like, oh, I like the smell of the notebook. Or...
No, because my if you look at my handwriting's garbage. Like,
I've seen it.
It's terrible. Like, but
it's almost as bad as mine.
But if you look at, I'm pretty sure you'll have them in another episode. My ex-scribe Supreme.
Okay.
He has like very nice handwriting. So when you look at his lyrics, like it's like a, what you call it, like one of those old like old manuscripts, like from back in the day, like something that like George Jefferson.
Pride.
Yeah, like how back in the day people really took pride in their writing. Like he takes pride in his writing. Like me, I just write whatever, like anywhere I want.
Maybe that's why I don't understand, because my handwriting is so bad. Which is kind of sad, because when I was in Puerto Rico, growing up, they were really strict about that. Like we had gotten to a point where you had to write cursive and you had to write with a pen so that you wouldn't be able to delete, erase. I mean, but then I came to the U.S. and I hated it, but I was doing it because I had to. When I came to the U.S., I learned, you don't have to, write however you want. I'm like, okay, so I don't have to. No, you don't. All right, cool. Goodbye. I don't care anymore.
Like I don't even think like regular schools teach cursive or whatever.
Cursive, yeah.
I think only specific schools do, like Montessori and all those different schools. But like, because people might not know, I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
So I'm also a teacher. So yeah, like obviously I don't have to teach my kids how to write cursive because they're still too young for that. But like even like the older levels, like 4th and 5th grade, I never see them teach cursive. I don't know if they're supposed to, or if it's just one of those things where, okay, this is not as important.
I don't think people care about that anymore. And I'm actually surprised, because I look at the generation of kids now, and they can't even type.
No,
because they're so used to their phones.
On the keyboard,
like on their phone, they can really go at it.
Or write grammatically correct,
or just swipe, because that's what most of them do too. So, but you give them an actual keyboard, and again, this is what surprises me. I'm like, they don't even know how to use that. I'm like,
because I know growing up that we had a keyboarding class where they make you cover the keyboard and you had to type underneath the box and everything. So like that's true. I don't even think they teach keyboarding class. I know they're supposed to, but I don't know. It's one of those.
We're gonna lose the keyboard. This was gonna happen.
I know everything. Like for example, like even with everything is so touchscreen that I don't know if it's ever happened to you. Like I remember I was at a place and they had like the monitor, and my dumb ass thought I was supposed to touch the screen. But then it wasn't working. I'm like, what's going on? And then I look under, and there's like a keyboard thing. I'm like, oh. Like I didn't see the keyboard and mouse.
Like, how am I supposed to use this thing?
I feel, I was
got so many buttons.
Yeah. Back to music.
Yeah. I mean, and not as bad as when you try to zoom in on a picture.
Oh, yeah.
Physical picture.
Man. I know we were looking at pictures that one day, and for something we had to create, and you would hand me a picture. I'm like, try to zoom in on a picture, like it's just like one of those things that's like in your brain,
because you want to take a closer look at a part of the picture, and you're just so used to just
pinch to zoom.
So anyway, so you started writing music.
So I would say middle school. Started
at what point did you think, oh, you know what, this is pretty good, or are we not there yet?
I think I just started writing just for fun. I was just writing for fun. And then eventually in high school, I started like entering like poetry contests.
Okay.
And like I started off like, your normal poems, like, about, friendships and, like nice things, right? But then, of course, like this was around the 2000s. And then in 2001, we had the World Trade Center, terrorist attack.
Things got dark.
Things got dark. So like when that happened, I was in a Christian high school, right?
Okay.
So a lot of things were, people started talking. That was like a big topic that we would talk in school for like a month after, like, it was just like every day we would talk about that, right? And then, like, I kept hearing people talking different things about what their opinions were. So that made me want to go, like, okay, I'm going to research, everything going on. And then, like, I entered this poetry contest. And, like, I just wrote what I felt about the whole situation, right? Like, try to be honest with everything I could. Let's just say I got banned.
I thought you were going to tell me you won first place.
When I entered it, I guess I wish I would have kept it. I didn't. I had a notebook full of poems, right?
Yeah.
And then they took my notebook, like the whole notebook, and like I wish I could, like, I would have taken a picture or something. But, like, I wonder what I wrote. Like, I don't remember what I wrote, honestly.
Your cell phone probably didn't take pictures back then.
Yeah, flip phones. But, like, honestly, I don't really remember. I know I wrote some things. I don't remember how it went. But they took it, and they're like, oh, no, you can't have this back because this is not appropriate for whatever. And then, like,
really?
And then after that, I don't think it was because of that. I'm pretty sure it was because of other reasons. I got kicked out of that school.
All the swearing and... No.
And I got kicked out of that school for just it just got real dark so okay, it was a Christian school. It was mostly white. And what do white people sometimes do? They start talking crap about, me and my family being undocumented and illegals and stuff. So let's just say I just started getting very angry at that, and I got kicked out for fighting,
Okay.
Honestly, there was other ways I could have handled it, but at that moment, you're like... Point, yeah,
it's always an afterthought.
Yeah,
like, there's other ways to handle things.
And I'm not saying that all white people are racist.
No. I get that. It tends to happen. A lot of people, maybe not even just white, but a lot of people tend to, they start talking.
To try, like, so, like, 9/11 happened. This all happened after 9/11. So, like, before 9/11, everything was fine. Like,
so things were already, there was a tension.
Yeah.
Already.
So then it's almost like, oh, we gotta blame somebody. Mm-hmm. So, this is the closest person that's different from us that we can kind of start trying to bully or whatever. So eventually I got kicked out, and then that's when I went to regular public school, high school. So I went to your alma mater, South Division.
South Division.
The best high school in the South Side. Honestly, I can say that school really helped me focus my energy.
All right. When I was going to South Division, it was always one of those high schools where, it kind of has a bad rap.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that bad.
No.
And personally, I never had any problems.
I never had problems.
For me, it was fine. Like what I would hear about the high school definitely didn't match what I was living
your
in
experience,
Yeah. Were there people that would get into trouble a lot? Yeah, of course. Was there shady stuff going on with some of the students? Yeah, but those were students that were looking for that stuff,
Yeah. Like, mostly I kept to myself. Like,
gang member wannabes and stuff, or maybe some of them were actual gang members. I don't know. I was just cool with everybody. I didn't care. I wasn't into, I was a nerd. So I just stayed by myself most of the time. But I had plenty of friends too. So I don't know. My personal experience was okay. I don't know if that's still the case. It feels like now people shun that high school even more than before.
Yeah, I think it's just a rep. Like you said, like, I mostly kept to myself and to the people, like my friends. I didn't go looking for trouble. Like,
exactly. Which honestly, for me, it's the advice for most people.
Yeah.
In any situation, like like I mentioned a lot. Like when I was moving to Puerto Rico. A lot of people were like, oh, the crime is so bad. Yeah. I'm like, crime is bad in Milwaukee. Crime is bad in Chicago. Crime is bad everywhere. If you're doing stupid stuff, then it will be bad.
Yeah.
If you try to be smart about things and just kind of keep to yourself and don't cause any trouble, don't go yelling at people on the street because they piss you off for whatever reason, then you should be good for the most part.
Yeah, you can be here, like, this is a nice area. You can be going around and you just say something to the wrong person and they might happen to have a gun,
Yeah.
You can't stop, it can happen anywhere, basically. But yeah, so at South Division, that's where I really started like taking rapping more serious. Because that's where I started kind of writing more. And I remember like the
So you're saying the Christian school pushed you into becoming more of a rapper?
Yeah, because when I was in that other school, it was mostly I considered it still poetry.
Like, so you went from poetry to rap.
Yeah, the Milwaukee. Yeah, so I mean it was during that transitioning. So I was like transitioning to like, okay, I should probably write more things that fit into beats. Like before, I would just write. But I wasn't listening to a beat or nothing.
Okay.
But when I went to South Division, that's like, okay, because I saw other people actually rapping to the beats, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I should take some of these poems and fix them up to make it go with a beat. And I remember in the cafeterias, that's what we would do. You know, people would be banging on the tables, making a beat, you know, with their hands, and people would just jump in, and I would be like, okay, I remember this rap I wrote or this poem I wrote. Let me try to fit it to this beat. And you know, some of it was whack, some of it was good, you know. But you know, I think for the most part, people were like, "Oh, just rap. Who cares what you say, right?"
Yeah.
Then eventually, you would do like battles. I wasn't that good at battling other people because I was like, man, I can't be disrespectful. I can't diss your mom. That makes me feel bad.
Your mom is actually she's very cool. She's very nice. She invited me for tacos the other day.
Her cooking is supreme. But like I really didn't get into the whole battling thing.
Her game is weak.
But yeah, I couldn't get into the whole battling thing. But it was just mostly for fun. Just and that's I think was that the around the time I met Rulin. And that's once Ruling. That's when I really started getting into. Because, you know, he liked computers and stuff. So I was like, okay, how can we make beats? Like that was one of the things that, like, okay, I have these raps. Okay. But I don't have.
So now you were starting to think of, okay, let's do more with this.
Yeah, let's do more with this. Like, how do you even start making a beat? Like I don't know what equipment to do. Like
now we are in the year.
This is like maybe like still like the early 2000s.
Okay.
So this is maybe like 2001, 2002. Okay. And this is when Napster and LimeWire and all those things was
which I know nothing about.
So anyways, I mean that's the only places where you can download like instrumentals that we knew of. Okay. So just beats from different people, just like downloading them and just rapping to it. And then eventually it was like, okay, how can we make our own? Like that took us a while to figure out. Google was around at this time, right?
Yeah, early 2000, Google was around.
But I think I'm still using that.
No, because like 9/11, that was 2001.
Yeah.
Or was it 2000?
2001.
2001, yeah. So, and I remember I found out about it through Google.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, like I don't remember but I remember like, you know, okay, what can we download? And that's when we started downloading programs that might, you know, help us because we didn't know where to buy it. Like,
yeah.
We're in the South Side. Like, there's no music software stores. And even if there were, we couldn't afford it.
Yeah, there was a Lincoln Music for actual instruments. But other than that, there's really nothing.
Yeah, and like, this is before I knew, like, okay, what kind of equipment there are. Like, you know, I didn't know about, like, you know, little drum machines or anything like that. So the only thing we could do is download software.
And you couldn't look up a YouTube video either.
Well, I had 56K. I had the dial-up.
And there was no YouTube.
Oh yeah, that's right. But there was what you call it? What was that site called? There was a site that.
I don't think there was a site. I think at this point, all you had was certain websites had the real video.
The real video. That was
real video.
Yeah, but there was So it was probably I don't even think you could look up. You know. But anyway, so that's when I started downloading the software, and that's when I started I probably started producing around 2002. Okay. I think that's when I actually started like trying to make my own beats. I didn't have the keyboard, so I had to do everything using the mouse. You know, I think I still have some of those old beats. They're not going to be released, but because they're pretty bad. But you know, it was something, you know, to get started.
Yeah. Do you remember what was the first song you actually recorded?
The the first time we went to an actual studio, we recorded at Never Surrender.
Never Surrender.
I think that was like the first one we ever did. I think that was probably like in 2003 or 4, around that time, I believe. And I know you heard it.
No, I've heard it. I'm just thinking, man, was it that long ago?
Yeah, that was 2003, 2004. Because we actually went to my friend's, because I met him through South Division. And maybe it was like my either senior year or junior year, where I told him, oh yeah, I'm writing these raps. I just need to find something. Like, oh, I'm building a studio in my house. I'm like, oh, you are? We knew each other for 2 years, and this is the first time I hear that you have a studio in your house.
You never asked.
Yeah, basically. So I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go. And I'm like, oh, I have this friend, like he wants to be on a song with me. And so that's when we went there and we recorded that. That was pretty cool.
No, I remember when you guys recorded that. It sounded great. Like, for me, it was like, holy crap! Like, this guy's actually
recorded
made like a real song. Like,
yeah,
something that you could actually play on your car stereo, and it sounded good.
Hey, maybe just for fun, you could probably put that song at the end of this.
At the end of this podcast, I'll have to find
free,
it.
so you don't have to. I have it somewhere. I'm pretty sure you have it somewhere in
I'm sure
20
I do.
hard drives.
That's the problem. I'm very good at telling people how they should store things. Yeah. I'm not good at me actually doing it.
Yeah. So we did that, but yeah. So that was the first song we recorded.
So then you eventually decided to create your own little studio.
Yeah.
At home.
Yeah. Little by little, just buying like one equipment at a time. Like started off with buying in like an official software.
That's something that and I know we have mentioned it in other interviews, but that was in a different podcast. But I absolutely love the fact that technology at least has gotten to a point where you can do that, because many years ago you wouldn't have been able to just create a studio in your own.
Yeah, you would have to find a studio. Yeah.
So all the ideas for the studio, the equipment, and all that stuff, did you just like Google all that, or?
No, it was mostly from my friend who had created his studio.
Okay.
And like I didn't know there was magazines that had like talk about studio equipment, like what's the best audio interface and blah blah blah. So he gave me like the magazines, and he told me about this store that was like pretty far away from where I lived. And like we would go at this time. That's when I started driving. So like, let's go hit. Like I had saved up some money from my McDonald's job, and I'm like, okay, I have $500 saved. Let's go get some equipment. And we went and we bought at least the basics. And
there was no Amazon.
Yeah, no Amazon.
So you had to go buy.
Best Buy didn't have it. So there was like specialty stores we had to go.
Yeah.
So we went there. I bought. I remember the first equipment. I still have it. It was an audio interface, a Sony headphones, M Audio keyboard, and that's it. So those 3 things is what I had, and that's when I started doing my
computer.
Stuff. And the computer. I already had the computer. I think it was a computer you helped me build actually a long time ago.
Probably
the old Ninja one.
Oh yeah. So was there a specific piece of equipment that when you got it you were like really proud that you actually got this? And I'll explain the question a little bit. I'm into photography.
Yeah.
And I've been into photography for many, many years, but it wasn't until this year that I finally bought my first ever like pro lens.
Yeah.
And then I bought another one, but for me, I was like, holy crap, like I've been wanting this for so long, and now like I finally have one of these. So I'm wondering if you had a similar thing. I think
honestly,
your
and one of the things I forgot to mention was the microphone. Like, that was an important part.
Yeah.
And I think when I bought, I think that was the most expensive part.
Probably one of the most important.
And I think I spent $200 on that mic.
Okay.
And honestly, this is probably as good a quality as this mic right here. But back in the day, about $200 mic, and I'm like, oh man, this is. And then when I started recording on it, I'm like, because I used to have one of those, like the Just the what are they called? The condenser mics. The regular mics that you get.
Yeah, your basic Shure.
Yeah, like that
SB7
and then,
or whatever.
That's where I would record. Like it sounded like crap, But when I got the new mic and I recorded myself the first time, I was like, oh, this sounds very clear. Like I can actually hear the spit in my mouth, like and
sounds too clear.
And the heavy breathing, like like every time I took a deep breath while recording, like.
So let's talk about that during recording. What would you say is the most difficult part for you?
The most difficult part, I would say, like, I would say like writing your stuff to, especially if you want, like I always want to record my stuff in one take, right?
Okay.
Like that's just what I like to do. I like to do it all in one take. I can do the whole take. If there's one little spot in the take that I do not like, I re-record the whole thing. I don't just cut it out.
Okay.
And so I like to do it in one take. So a lot of things that I really have to focus is when do I breathe, so that I either like back away from the mic in that little split second, or like or something, or try to edit that breathing out. I think it's just the timing of the whole recording.
Now, sometimes, and I don't know if this happens to you, but sometimes I'll write stuff and not songs, but other stuff.
Yeah.
And like for videos, for example, I would write a script, because there was a time when I tried the whole script thing. I didn't like it, not for me, but I would write the script and then I would try to read it, and then because of my accent, I would find that there were words that I could perfectly pronounce in my brain, but they were not coming out.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, do you ever have that problem where you write something and maybe not because of an accent or anything, but you write something and
your tongue is just not
like it's supposed to be really fast or whatever, but you just can't say it. Have that ever happened to you?
Yeah, there's been times where like I want to say certain words because I feel that it's important to the song. But there's some times where just because I'm not a speed rapper. Like I'm not those rappers that can rap really fast, real good. Like my tongue is not fast. Like my friend, he knows how to rap fast. I can't.
Yeah.
So there's been times where I'm like trying to, say this sequence of words, and I just can't for whatever reason. And I don't want to cut and paste, because I'll do that like now for little things, but like back in the day I really didn't like doing that because I didn't want to edit. Like now I know how to edit, so I can do that, but back in the day I didn't know how to edit that good.
Trust me, I understand.
So I was like, I just want to one take it, so I would have to like remove a word and like, okay, does this still make sense if I take this word out? Like it's just sometimes like certain sounds was hard. I'm like, okay, I'll just remove it.
Did you ever give up and just go back and change the lyrics?
Yeah, I've done that. I'm not gonna pretend I never did that, but yes, I've done that. Whereas like something just isn't sounding right, I'll just change the word or something like that.
Now, you did release an album that's out there, right?
Yeah.
What's the name?
I have two albums. Well, actually three, two solo and one with a group.
Okay.
So the first one is called "The End Is Now." Is it? The end is now. Yeah, the end is now. Oh no, the end is unknown. I can't believe the end is unknown. The end is unknown, and the second one is beginning of the end.
And those are available.
Yeah, there should be on Google Play.
Google Play.
And then there's another one. Even though I think Google Play is going to close down, so I don't know if by the time this podcast goes out, it'll be down because Google Play is getting eliminated or whatever. Okay. So I only had it on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remaster them and try to get a distribution deal and try to get it like on iTunes, and something I probably should have done a long time ago.
Probably.
But I'll do that for like, because it's like 11 years since.
Is that also like on SoundCloud or?
No, it's on some other stuff.
Okay.
Actually, it might be on SoundCloud. I haven't gotten into my SoundCloud in a long time. But yeah, I have it on like the old Reverb Nations. I have it in Dat Piff, which is like a mixtape website. I have a couple other places for free, but I'm going to bring them back, and I'm gonna try to remaster them. Like now that I know a little bit more about, mixing and stuff, so I'm gonna try to make it sound better, and then I'll release it to like Spotify and all those other areas. But then I have the other one that's a group, that's M Protocol, and it's called the I can't even say it because this was the idea of my friend. I can't even pronounce the word. Inviolable code.
Okay.
El código infodiable. I forgot what it was called. Like I can't even pronounce that word. I was like,
I'm gonna guess that's a
supreme call.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, let's call it this. I'm like, okay.
For the longest time, he went around calling himself Supreme Diatribe.
Diatribe.
And I could never remember. I could never pronounce it. And then when I finally was able to pronounce and remember Supreme Diatribe, he changed his name.
Yeah, so now he's Xscribe.
I'm like, come on. You're killing me here. So anyway, Never Surrender. It was, you mentioned that one of the first piece that you guys actually... do rappers like calling it songs? I don't know.
Yeah, songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
First song
track
that you guys created, but I'm imagining since it was mostly done at your friend's studio, it didn't feel like you made it, or
well, like Rulin made that beat, and we wrote the song. So the only thing that is that we recorded at his place, and we got ideas from it. But I mean, I consider it.
Well, who did the audio levels and all?
Oh yeah. The my friend did.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So from all the songs, I guess the question that I'm trying to get to is, from all the songs that you have worked, which one are you most proud of as far as the job that you guys were able to do?
Man, and I really like a lot of the most recent stuff we've done.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the best sounding we've made. Like a lot of my old stuff, like I haven't made one since 2012, so it's like that was not good mixing at all. Like it was just like, oh, it sounds good. I'm just gonna put it out, kind of thing. Not really caring about mixing. But now recently, like with my friend Rulin, we've been making a lot of songs that I really like how they sound. Like the way we've mixed it and everything.
Yeah, and I've seen that you guys like spend a lot of time like making little tweaks that to me they don't. Yeah, they sound the same to me because I'm not trained.
Yeah.
But you guys, I've seen you guys just kind of working, tweaking.
Yeah. I think a lot of times it's because we'll listen to it in the car. We'll listen into like you have to listen to multiple places, and if it in one place it's like, okay, it sounds a little weird like this, and then you go back and try to fix it. You're not gonna make it sound good everywhere, but like at least try to make it sound good in as many places that people might actually listen to your song. Even though a lot of people nowadays just listen to it using their phone speakers, which does not give you the best sound quality. So as long as it sounds good on your phone speakers, people like it, I guess.
As long as they hear it, I guess, yeah.
In those weak-ass AirPods.
But I can imagine how as a producer, you might be like, come on, like, listen to it somewhere. Like I went through a lot of work to make it sound okay. Like
it's kind of like when people listening to like the MP3 version and compared to like the whole wave file, like the full range of, and like you said, like I said, like a lot of people just use like cheap headphones.
Yeah.
They don't really listen to it in a nice system. So
they go to Walgreens, get the $5 headphones.
Yeah, and they just listen to it, which, you listen to music how you can. You can't afford a system. Well, you can't do nothing about it as long as you enjoy it. But, if you as a producer have to make it for the nice speakers, because when you do a concert, you want to make sure it sounds good. You don't want to make it sound too static or anything like that.
Let's talk about that a little bit. You have actually gone to like open mics and done your thing in front of strangers.
Yeah.
Which as I've mentioned before, to me it sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Like I can't see myself doing that.
Yeah.
How has it been for you?
Like I think it's especially like when I did all my open mics, it was just be me by myself. Like, you know, it was just me going by myself with like a CD of my songs, and, you know, giving it to them, and, you know, I'm performing it in stage, and it's like a very intimate setting, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's not like thousands of people. Maybe the most is like 20 people. So
yeah, but to me that would almost feel worse because you can see all of them.
but you know that I think what would make it a little bit worse is that most of the audience that's there are there to perform too, so they're musicians too. So they're like, your levels were not that good. Like, you should have.
Yeah, like they actually know this stuff.
They'll be more critical. Like,
it's not just a bunch of drunk people. Like,
yeah. So it's actual musicians. They're like, oh man, that beat was nice, but man, you should have.
But at the same time, because they are musicians, they also tend to appreciate.
Yeah, and they're more supportive, I guess.
Correct.
Even if they give you a pity clap. Like,
only, unless they are jerks.
Yeah. But I could say that most of I never met like a jerk person. Jerk person. Like they all been supportive at an open mic. Yeah. But yeah, like, but that was, man, a while ago. I haven't done anything like that. I've been trying to do some more things. I know we went to that event that one time. We were we were just there to chill. Just, you know, just because we were new to the area. We're like, okay, let's go. Yeah. And it was interesting because, you know, the guy was like, oh yeah, we do tours. So I'm like, oh, I would like to do this. And, you know, I'm trying to get, you know, some people to come, you know, and still working on that. And maybe someday this summer, hopefully we can do a little tour, at least here, like in the region. That'll be nice.
At least one open mic.
At least one. At least a nice little little concert spot thing.
So, what are you working on now?
So, like, right now, I'm first of all, I'm trying to do the remastering of all those things. So I'm hoping to get it done by July. Yes, you know, I need some time for that. And yes, because it's been, the first one that I released was in 2008, so it's already been like 11 years. So I was like, oh, it could have been a 10th anniversary, but no, I guess it's 11th anniversary. So why 11? You know.
Oh, it's a little bit forced too. So.
Yeah, and plus, like, everybody does 10, I'll do 11. 11-year anniversary. And then I'm trying to, and I know we kind of talked, we were just kind of like listening to other music, and we were kind of talking about how the attention span of people might not be as big as it was
as
before.
It used to be, yeah.
So nowadays, you really don't really have to release an album. So I'll probably release a couple of songs, like maybe like 3 or 4 songs that I really want to, like, really work on them and make them as best as I can, and just like release them. Yeah,
just to be clear, what we have been talking about is how nowadays people, the technology has made it so that just about anybody can go ahead and make an album and all that, and that's great. But at the same time, it has gotten people to not pay as much attention. Like, I remember back in the day, I was a big Maná fan, for example, and I always had to wait years. For Maná to release a new album, and that was okay. You know, even further back, people always waited so long in order to be able to get their band to listen to something new. Nowadays, you can't. My opinion, you can't wait that long because people will just kind of forget about you.
You have to be someone special for you to be able to do that.
You have to be, you know, a Beyonce or somebody can do that. Yeah. Most people, if you have people's attention now, you want to be able to get people's attention with something new, like, as soon as possible, because otherwise they'll kind of forget about you. So
at least like a new song every month, and I think that's what a lot of people are doing. That they're giving people little bites.
I think that's why you see so many singles, because otherwise, you know, if you release a full album with a bunch of good songs, chances are people are going to focus on a couple of the good songs and then forget about the rest, even though the rest could have been great songs on their own, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Because like I remember, like me, like I have a big hip hop collection of CDs. Like my CD collection is pretty big. Like it could be like some people will be like, "Oh, you're a fanatic of hip hop." Like I have albums of rappers you probably never heard of.
I'm sure I haven't, but
that even the casual consumer, because they were never as popular, but like I enjoyed them, right?
Okay.
So like it's like back in the day, you would buy a CD, and that CD would stay in my CD player in my car for like 3 weeks, like just listening to it over and over again until a new person released a new album that I liked, because there was no streaming. There was like I look at Google Play and or any other the streaming services, and I'm like, what should I listen? I want to listen to something new, and there's just a ton of people that I'm like, who should I start listening to? Like I want to discover new things, but like I want to pick a new album that I've never heard before, and I'm like, I don't even know where to start because there's just so many artists out there.
It's difficult, and yeah, back in the day, same thing. Like I will have a tape in my car. that was the tape. That's what I would listen to
over and over again.
8 songs on one side, 8 songs on the other side. That's it. Like, and you had to listen to the other side because you wanted to go back. You was either listen to them or rewind.
No, yeah.
So yeah, technology has improved a lot of things, but it has kind of ruined other things. But I think for the most part, people have adapted. Like we said, maybe instead of creating a full album, just do singles or stuff like that. Like
a couple at a time, so that throughout the whole year, they eventually can create one solid album.
Correct. Which it's a good idea, but at the same time, it is kind of sad because on a previous interview that we had done, we had talked about how there used to be an art to creating a full album, like a whole story. Within the album. But yeah, with singles, you can still kind of make it happen. It just takes the same amount of time. Just release it little by little, I guess.
Yeah, like I don't know how an album like one of my favorite albums of all time is Biggie's I forgot what it's called. I forgot the first one. I can't believe I forgot. The first one? Ready to Die or something like that. Ready to Die. That's what it was called. Like the whole album it starts from him being born to him being a teenager and getting into trouble, and then at the end he commits suicide. So it's like a whole coherent like story. So like I don't know how something like that would work in today's nature.
I think if you do it like you mentioned, just every month or every couple months release another one, and then have it like the same, kind of like the same name, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know.
like I couldn't imagine him being able to, because a lot of those are not necessarily good singles. Yeah, but they're important part of the story. Correct. So like I can't imagine him using a certain song as a single, but together connected to the other ones, they're like, oh, it's good. Like that's an album that I like to listen from beginning to end. I don't like skipping around. So there's albums where I skip around, and there's other albums where I'm just like listening from beginning to end, and I guess that's how I wanted to create albums, but that's not.
And today's like somebody mentions The Chronic, right away I can think of a bunch of songs. Yeah, but like we said, things have changed. Yeah. Any specific areas that you would say? I mean, we already kind of mentioned some of your struggles, trying to find information on how to do this and that. Any other specific struggles that you would mention now that are happening now, or that things that were very difficult for you that you never thought were gonna be an issue?
I think it's important to, and I think this is something I failed at like early on, is networking. I think that was like the biggest failure I had. Like I was like, no, I'm doing this by myself. Like I can do this by myself. I don't need help. Yeah. Like I'm just me and my friends, and we do this together. Like, no, I think it's important for you to network with other, and I think that's a struggle that a lot of like artists may have.
Yeah, because they're like, this is my baby.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you can create your own stuff, but even if you reach out to people to get like, feedback or something like that, like I think that's something good to do.
Yeah. And you might be amazing at writing and just kind of suck at making music. Like, find somebody that's good at making music. Yeah.
Yeah, and eventually learn from them. Like,
yeah.
Like, if I would have done that, like at the beginning, I was making just music with my keyboard and mouse. It was kind of hard, and then it wasn't until I networked with my friend who showed me, oh no, you use this equipment for this, this equipment for that, and then I think if I wouldn't have had that person, I don't even know if I would be here, honestly. Like, if I wouldn't have met, because he gave me like all the resources to create my own studio on a budget.
On a budget.
Yeah.
Another struggle, finding a studio. Like, like, no, I'm just mentioning this because I know we have tried to kind of find space, is what I mean. Space for like a music/photo studio. So difficult because it's so expensive. But anyway.
Yeah, like I was fortunate that, I was a good member of my family. So my parents allowed me to create a studio in their home.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't have had that, where would I make the studio?
Yeah.
Like in my car or something, like a laptop.
Probably could.
Now you could probably do that with a laptop, like a laptop and a nice mic. That's all you need.
Trying to picture your car with all the soundproof foam.
Yeah, I should make an album called like in my car, like, and just make like 3 songs.
Weren't you making a in my car podcast? Or?
I was making, but the thing is that I can't do it when I'm driving because I had too much road noise.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't be podcasting while driving. That I'm pretty sure
like,
that's
not me driving, but somebody else driving and me recording.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you some questions.
All right.
That there's no right answer. We're at the end of the interview, basically. No, not the interview, the chat. It's just a chat. There's no right answer, so feel free to answer however you want. Number 1, if you could be in any Marvel movie, which one would it be, and what role would you play?
Oh man.
Marvel specific, okay.
Marvel. Man.
I was going to make a Star Wars, but I decided to change it to Marvel.
Like, I haven't seen the new movie, but Thanos looks pretty strong. He looks like he's unbeatable. But man, I don't know. I kind of like Ant-Man. Like the whole...
Ant-Man?
Yeah, just being able to like shrink down and like not be seen.
Yeah, but his suit barely ever works.
I mean, hopefully it works. That's true. Like, I wouldn't like to be trapped but I like the power. Like, you can just hide and sneak through.
It is a cool part.
Like, I can go to Japan for free.
You could technically
I just sneak in there and.
But then again, actually, for me, that would be amazing because even if I have to pay for the seat, I would just buy one seat
and make yourself
make myself smaller. Like, hey, I'm a little kid. Like, you could pass as a little no, but then you need an adult to go with. I was gonna say you could pass as a little kid and just ride for free, but no.
Some people will say like, "Oh, why don't you become Iron Man? You can just fly to Japan." But like, I don't want to fly. Like, I don't want that's too much time in me in the suit.
How boring that would be.
Exactly. I'd rather just sit back, in the plane, and
I'm sure Jarvis can do pretty good conversation, but not for like 18
or
hours.
autopilot or something while you're watching a YouTube. If he has YouTube in his suit,
that could work.
If the Iron Man suit comes with YouTube, I'll Google Play service. I'll be Iron Man.
Otherwise, I want Ant-Man. No, I kind of like your idea. Ant-Man would actually be cooler in my opinion because there's so much more that you could do.
Yeah, because like let's say sometimes I want to go to Six Flags and I don't fit in the rides.
Yeah,
I can just shrink down and I fit and I enjoy a nice little ride.
Or you could just turn into flea size and just go anywhere.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So yeah, I like that one. I hadn't thought of my own answer, but I'm gonna steal that one. Zombie apocalypse is here.
All right.
How do you survive? If you even survive, I don't know.
Play my mixtape.
Play your mixtape. That's gonna keep the zombies away.
That's gonna keep them away.
Okay.
Because they're never mind. I just keep it like that.
I always say I would need a machete. Although I always also say that
A long machete.
yeah, you know, just
A katana.
No, not a katana. That's too long. Because in smaller rooms, then I can't swing it.
Well, like how much of a small room are you gonna be in?
I don't know. A zombie could walk in here.
This is a pretty big room.
Not if I'm in the hallway.
Just stab him. Just go.
Make a zombie shish kebab. No, because I don't know. I just don't want a katana. That's too heavy. It's too. I like machetes. Okay,
And
but anyway,
aluminium katana.
problem is, zombies are never the problem. You know,
Yes,
in every zombie show, it's always the humans that end up being an issue. So, last question.
All right.
And this is the one that I told you that I would ask you because you should know the answer. Like I just found this one online. And is if you were a pizza delivery man,
Okay.
which you did do for a while,
Yeah, I did do that.
how would you benefit from scissors?
From scissors.
That was the question.
I guess ask them if they want me to open their what you call it, like the cheese packets, and I have scissors. Maybe they give me a tip,
But by the way, would you like me to open this for you?
or if you don't tip me, I'll stab you with these scissors.
Okay. No scissors. Got it. All right, so those were the
All right.
questions. Social media. Can people find you anywhere? Should
Yes.
people find you anywhere?
Should people? Yeah, you can find me on L.Equis on Instagram and Twitter. YouTube. It's L.Equis, I believe. I just started it recently, so
We'll have a link.
yeah, hey, there we go.
We'll have a
give you the
link.
link. I only have one video on my YouTube right now, but I plan on doing like I want to do like
It's like a bi-monthly. By that I mean like not even quarterly.
And it's not a vlog. It's like almost like a. Is there such thing as like, I don't want to say scripted vlog, like I don't know if that's even a thing, where it's like a vlog where it's like scripted.
Oh, okay. So it's a
There you go.
scripted vlog.
Is your vlog scripted?
No,
Okay, mine's neither. I don't know why. I say
Mine
that.
right now is non-assistant, but
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just making videos. Starting.
and people can also find you on the Stuff HD podcast.
Oh yeah, Stuff HD podcast. Yeah, and have a podcast coming out soon.
There's a podcast coming out soon called
It's called Xspot.
Xspot.
Mm-hmm.
There's
There's one episode on there, but I plan on doing more.
okay, so they can go and find
Yeah,
it
they
now.
can. They could find it.
All right,
but
cool.
I'm gonna need your help on expanding that.
All right. So that is all we have on this episode. Anything that you want to say to people that might be thinking of maybe getting into music production, or maybe they're looking for a producer? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if you want to collaborate, I'm more than happy to collaborate. It doesn't matter. Like I just want to learn from different.
Is there an
people.
email that they should contact you?
Yeah, you can contact at m-protocol.com.
m-protocol.com.
Yeah, you can send me. That's my contact email. So if you need,
Okay.
you want to collab, or you want like maybe, I don't know, any questions you might have on how to create a studio or something like that, feel free to contact me at contact.
And for people that maybe have written some stuff but they're too scared.
Yeah, like I would say, like, just like what's the name? Shia LaBeouf. He's like, just do it.
Just do it.
Just-
I
oh,
think that was
that's
Nike.
No, but he's like, well, he took their stuff, but just do it. Just record on your phone. Like, record anything if you have a phone that it has a microphone, which they all do, and just download a little recording program, and just, it doesn't matter how bad it sounds. If you record it and the concept of that song is really good and you put it out, somebody might like it and be like, oh, why don't you come and record it in a real studio? That's how you can do it. Just record it in any, doesn't matter the quality. Just record it and get it down.
And one of the important things that you can see through your story is that, at the beginning, you were probably doing crap.
Yeah. Yeah, it was lo-fi.
Clicking on the things with your mouse.
I remember when I showed you the beats at the beginning, you're like, is there some guy in the piano doing this?
Yeah. But
that's how it sounded,
but you are now at a point where you are much more capable.
Yeah.
And that only happens if you keep doing it. If you keep doing it. Like it's like basically anything. Right now I feel like I suck at these interviews, but it's something that I'm gonna keep working on, and
the more you do
it'll get better.
Yeah.
Same with like YouTube videos. Like whenever people start making YouTube, go to your favorite YouTuber and search, sort the videos by date.
Yeah.
And look at their first videos. They're probably crap.
Yeah, like Marcus, like he's one of my, one of my go-to people to watch tech videos.
MKBHD.
And I look at his old videos, it's just him in front of a camera, like a little young skinny kid.
Exactly.
Just recording videos like, okay, I'm doing this for fun,
Yeah, but they didn't give up, so they kept going and they got better. Like,
and I would say, like, if you're beginning, if you're doing it for fun, that's great. Don't do it because you think you're going to make this amazing career of it.
Oh, yeah.
But do it because it's fun to you. If it's fun to you, it will convert into something that can, you can create a career. But make sure it's fun for you.
Correct.
If it's not fun for you, don't do it. That's what I would say.
Like you mentioned, you're a teacher. Like as much fun as music can be, it's not just gonna be profitable like that. You gotta put a lot of work into it, and you're probably gonna have to do other jobs.
Yeah.
But hopefully, eventually, one day, something might happen. Yeah. But if you do it just waiting for that day, you're gonna get impatient and you're gonna fail.
Yeah, like the last thing I'll say is that like I'm doing this for fun. I don't expect this to become some great thing. But I'm going to keep doing this, until I can't no more, Like I'm going to keep making music as much as I can because it's fun to me still.
Exactly.
I still find enjoyment in it. It doesn't matter if I don't make money. I got other ways that I can make money. So money is not an issue. I find this fun and that's what I want to do.
Alrighty. So with that, we're going to get out of here. So, you can... I lost my train of thought there for a second. You can follow Equis on Twitter and Instagram, l.equis, at l.equis. You can also contact him on contact@mprotocol.com. Check out his YouTube, his podcast at Xspot, because there's stuff coming. There's stuff coming. His YouTube channel is going to be linked in the description of this, because we don't remember right now.
Yeah.
YouTube doesn't have a cool, it's always weird URL. Like you have to search.
And since it just started, it doesn't give you that option to create your own name.
So anyway, as for myself, you can, if you know somebody that should be on this podcast, or you would like to be on this podcast yourself because you feel like you have a good story, or you're trying to promote yourself, you can message me, send me an email to contact@prolificcreator.com. You can also check out prolificcreator.com to see the other episodes. You can look for Prolific Creator on all your favorite podcast applications like, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Google Music. It's on Spotify also, and TuneIn, I think. I'm not even sure. I don't use that. So, but it should be there. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram @StuffNetworks. Also check out my YouTube page, Stuff HD. You can also listen to the Stuff HD podcast from there, and also to the Prolific Creator podcast, which hopefully by now we're putting video into the podcasts. I'm still trying to debate whether I want to do a separate channel for Prolific Creator or not, but that's something different. All right, we're done. We're out of here. You all take care. Bye.